All right, back for another beer review, and today I will be reviewing a beer from the Willow Rock Brewing Company, and they're out of Syracuse, New York, and this is their Membeer Berries. So they're calling this a Hefeweizen that is brewed with blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries, comes in at 5.5% alcohol by volume, 14 IBUs at the time of review. This can is approximately 2.5 months old. So first things first, let me give credit to them because I just love the theme of this. I love South Park, and the Membeer Berries episode, probably one of my favorite in the last 5 years when it comes to South Park, and I just love it. They just have the Membeer Berries on here. Member? Oh, I member. And then on the side here it says, Membeer Berries and beer, we member. This American hefe is absolutely loaded with blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries, sitting like a beautiful purple cloud in your glass. This brew will have you membering all the great times. So yeah, I actually picked this up on the way back from the 2019 East Coast Beer Tuber Palooza, hosted by Matt over at Massive Beer Reviews, Cal over at No Hype Beer Reviews, along with Sean and Mike at Nerd Sense. They came down, and on the way back, going back to Buffalo, you pretty much go straight north to Syracuse and then west to Buffalo. And I was just looking for any breweries that had anything interesting. At the time I was coming back, and I saw that they had this in cans, and this is not even for me. My dad really likes Hefeweizens or wheat beers in general, and then he loves fruit beers. So when I saw this, I was like, man, I gotta grab a 4-pack for him. So I did. I went in there, grabbed a 4-pack of it, and gave him 3 of the 4, and I kept 1 for review. And I think he has drank all of them, and he really enjoys this one. So can't wait to get into it. Between the theme and the label and the fact that it's a Hefeweizen with 3 different berries, yeah, sign me up. Sounds pretty good. I'm hoping they talk about a purple cloud. Hopefully it has the color that you would expect from a beer like this, and we will see. Yeah, that has, that's a really milky looking, like, purplish color. Looks like it has a decent amount of carbonation, so I'm not going to pour super fast. We'll go like that. So yeah, I just like it. I love the label. I just love the whole South Park reference. Yeah, that looks really weird. This has like a really deep purple color to it. It has like a milky, like almost grayish tinge to it. Super murky and turbid. It just looks crazy. About a 2-finger rocky head to it, and it's like a light purple head too. Yeah, it's like, this is like violet, but like a lighter violet. Man, that looks crazy. The head is dissipating. But yeah, that looks, you know what? If you're going to tell me there's blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries in a beer, yeah, a color like this is appropriate. Let's get a nose. Wow, big jamminess to this one. Wow, that's interesting. Now I'm getting the base. The first smell is way different than the second. Yeah, so as I'm swirling it and getting into it, right up front was huge jammy. It was like jammy raspberries, jammy blueberries. But as it opens up, there's a banana and clove like yeast ester that's coming to the forefront, mixing in with those fruits. And it's kind of like, you just cut up some bananas and threw some berries in a, like in a bowl or something, and you're smelling it. The clove is definitely there. Now they just say American Hefeweizen. I mean, if you're calling it Hefeweizen, it's German style, right? So I mean, whatever you call it, there's some interesting yeast esters in here that are basically German Hefeweizen yeast esters, that banana and that clove, so it makes sense. It smells sweet, but subdued too. Like, it smells more jammy than full-on sweet from the berry aspect. But yeah, it actually works kind of well. Like, it's almost like a banana bread-esque, but with, like, you took a slice of banana bread and spread jam on it. Does that sound good? I don't. Actually, in theory, to my mind, it smells okay, but I don't know how it would taste. But that's kind of the I don't know. That's just kind of what I'm getting here. You know what I mean? It has that kind of a vibe to it. Anyway, let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Yeah, it's nice. That is a nice beer. Right up front, I hit with a big blast of sweetness, but it's not necessarily like a jammy, fruity sweetness. It's just like a generic sweetness, like kind of from like the malt base. As it starts passing through the palate, more of those berry characteristics are just popping out here and there. First one I get is really blackberries seem to be the dominant note for me, then raspberries, then blueberries. It kind of gives me like a boysenberry, which is like a hybrid blackberry raspberry, I believe. Kind of gives me those type of vibes in it. I would think more boysenberry than the rest. I've had enough boysenberry beers where I've never actually had a boysenberry, but I've had a ton of boysenberry beers. It's kind of what I'm getting. As it hits through the middle of the palate, though, the banana and the clove, those yeast esters come to the forefront and they kind of stick their head in, and it's kind of weird. Just to be honest with you, it's kind of weird right in the middle, but then it kind of smooths out and blends together. and it finishes with this like slightly clove dryness. It's like this semi-dry finish. There's not a lot of residual sweetness. Like the first 3/4 of the palate, pretty sweet. On the back end, dries out a little bit. No bitterness to speak of, but it has a nice drying finish to it to make you go back for more. Body on this one's lower side of medium body at 5.5%. I'm cool with it. The mouthfeel, it's not like full-on German Hefeweizen like mouthfeel, like that really soft, smooth, creamy type of deal. A little bit more carbonated than that, but there is a slight creaminess. There is a slight softness to it. It's just a bit more carbonated than, for me, the style dictates. But again, that's just my palate. As you can see, I'm taking this down quite easy, 5.5%. I can't tell that, you know, there's alcohol in here at all. Yeah, this is a great summer beer, and this is when they released this. So I'm going to date this review, but this is basically middle of August, and I picked this up at the end of July, and they still had cans of this left at the brewery, and it said this can or this 4-pack was from June 4th. So I'd imagine that you know, this one hung around for a while. I picked it up at the brewery, like I said, and it was $12.99 a 4-pack, which is fine for a Hefeweizen that's using all those berries. You know, you're talking under $3.50 a can, you know, just over $3 a can for a 16-ounce can of something that has this much going on in it. I think the availability is also pretty much Syracuse, although they probably make it some local bottle shops and whatnot, but definitely at the brewery, and probably can get it local. Good price point. I'm going to give Membeer Berries from Willow Rock a high 3.75 out of 5. I'm going to go 3.85 out of 5. It doesn't get quite to the 4. I think the mouthfeel, if it was a little bit more appropriate, would have hit a 4. But this is a really nice, easygoing drinking beer for the summer. There's complexity, but it's not overly complex. There's really the berry flavors are there. You're getting the yeast esters from the base Hefeweizen. Yeah, it's really nice. There's nothing wrong with it. For me, though, I want to see maybe a little bit more jamminess, a little bit more of just like a sweetness to the berries. Definitely want to see the mouthfeel bumped up a bit. But for the first beer I've had from Willow Rock, I'd say they did a pretty good job. So 3.85 for Membeer Berries from Willow Rock. If you've had this one before, let me know what you think about it. I'd imagine not a lot of people out there have had this one because, again, it's a small brewery in Syracuse. But if you have had it, I'd be curious to know what you think about it because I'm enjoying it. And I think they should rebrew this one again, definitely during the spring and summertime, because that's kind of what it's appropriate for. So appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.